supply of money. In a modern economy, money comprises cash and bank deposit. Then this, depending on what type of bank deposit are being included, there are many measures of money. Then these are created by the system comprising of two types of institutions, central bank and commercial banking in our system. Okay, first we can go through central bank. Okay, every country has a central bank. The central bank is the highest authority in a country's monetary transactions or monetary system. It is called the different names in different countries, like Federal Reserves in America, Bank of England in England, and Reserve Bank of India in India. Okay, then in different countries, this authority have different name. In India, it is Reserve Bank of India. Okay, the Reserve Bank of India was established on 1st April 1935 as per RBI Act of 1934. Okay, after independence, the RBI was nationalized by the government on 1st January 1949 and it renamed as Central Bank of India. Today, the Central Bank of India or RBI plays an important role in the development strategy of Government of India. Okay, then this RBI have lot of functions. Okay, the head office of the RBI located in Mumbai. It has a regional office at Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai and Delhi, and it branches established in Bengaluru, Lucknow, Hyderabad, etc. Okay, the central bank aims at promoting financial and economic stability in the country. Okay, the central bank is the monetary institution whose main function is to control money supply. Then who is controlling money supply? The central bank is controlling the money supply. Then it issues currency of the country. Then this central bank issues currency of the country, and especially like it controls the money supply through bank rate, open market operation, like that, various reserve ratios. Through these systems, these central banks controls the money supply and it acts as a banker to the government. Okay, it working as a banker to the government. Then RBI has certain functions. Some functions are note issue, then banker to the government, bankers bank, lenders of last resort, clearing houses, then leader of money market, controller of credit and custodian of foreign reserves. These are the some basic functions. Then some other functions like agricultural finance, industrial finance and research function, special function, like that functions also there. Okay, then in basic function, monopoly of note issues, like under section of RBI Act, no currency note like rupees 10, 20, 50, 100, 500, 1000, 1000 is not there, 2000, like that. Some currency notes are issuing by the RBI. Okay, the RBI follows minimum reserve system while issuing the currency notes since 1956. It has to maintain some reserve of gold or silver or currency notes. Okay, it has to maintain a minimum reserve of rupees 200 crores, which at least rupees 115 crores in the form of gold. Okay, then the government of Ministry of Finance, government also issues currency notes like currencies like rupees on and coins and other denominations are issuing by Indian government, means Ministry of Finance. Okay, then important function is note issue. Then another one function is banker to government. The RBI acts as a banker and advisor to the government. Okay, the Central Bank of India performs the same function as the commercial banks to their customers, such as it receives deposit from the government and giving loans to the government when it is needed. Okay, then it receives and makes all payments on behalf of the government. It transfers government funds from one place to another, from one account to another. Then RBI acts as an agent to the government in respect of the country's relations with the international institutions like IMF, World Bank, IBRD, like that institution. It gives useful advice to the government in economic matters such as foreign exchange. We know in current situation also, RBI giving lot of advice and suggestions, some policies also planning for government. Okay, then it performs the task of managing the public debt. Okay, that reason we are calling central bank as the bankers bank. We are calling as bankers bank. Sorry, we are calling as bankers to government. For government, central bank work as a banker. Okay, next function is bankers to bank. The activities of all commercial banks are controlled and managed by the Reserve Bank of India. The regulation of banks may be related to their licensing, branch expansion, liquidity of assets. All these functions are managing by Reserve Bank of India. Every commercial bank has to maintain certain portion of its total deposit in the form of cash reserve with RBI. Okay, the cash reserve with the RBI help for commercial banks in times of financial difficulties. The RBI gives credit to the commercial banks by discounting the bills and advances money on various securities. That reason we are calling it as bankers bank. Okay, it means this bank RBI work as a controller or manager of the all the banks. Okay, that reason we are calling as bankers of bank. Then another one function is lender of last resort. The RBI helps the commercial banks in the time of financial crisis. Okay, when commercial banks are not able to get financial assistance from any sources, RBI comes to their rescue. That is the commercial bank can approach RBI for loans. Okay, then commercial banks can approach for loans. Okay, then another one function is clearing houses. Then RBI act as clearing houses, means like transfer and settlement and claim settlements of commercial banks. That reason we are calling central banks as a clearing house. Then another one function is leader of the money market. It works as a leader of money market. Okay, then another function is controller of credit. Okay, like the important functions like controlling the credit and means especially for banks, they are fixing some controlling measures like bank rate, open market operations, credit control, means variable reserve ratios and statutory liquidity ratio, like that. Some measures they are taking and they are controlling this credit. By controlling the money supply, and credit, the central bank controls the economic variables such as price, inflation, interest rate, all these things central banks controlling. Okay, then next one is custodian of foreign exchange reserve. The RBI act as a custodian of foreign exchange reserves. It is required to maintaining reserves like gold, silver and foreign exchange. Then the RBI has a separate exchange control department to supervise and control foreign exchange reserve. Then another function is custodian of foreign exchange reserve. Then these are the main function of Central Bank of India or Reserve Bank of India. Then the money supply, the issuing currency and these functions are controlling by the central bank. This currency issued by the central bank can be held by the public or by the commercial banks and is called it as high powered money. Then the currency issued by the central bank and can held by the public or by the commercial banks is called as high powered money or reserve money. Okay, then what is high powered money? The currency issued by the central bank and it can be held by public or commercial banks. This money we are calling as high powered money or reserve money. Okay, then these are the monetary basis and these RBI act as the credit controller. Okay, then now we can study about the commercial banks. Okay, commercial banks are the other type of institution which are part of a money creating system of the economy. Then commercial banks are the other type of institution. They are creating the money, controlling the money supply in our system. Okay, then we can study about the commercial. Then we know bank is an institution which deals in money. It accepts deposit from the public and lends the same to those who are in need of it. Okay, it is a dealer in money and credit. Okay, then commercial banks means it is a institution which deals in money. Okay, then it is mainly this institution having the some features. It deals in money, it accepts deposit and advances the loans, it deals in credit and it has the ability to create credit. We know from where we are taking loan, we are taking from banks. It is a commercial institution, it aims at earning profit. It is a unique financial institution that create demand deposit which serve as a medium of exchange. Then commercial banks have lot of function. They accept deposit from publics and lend out these funds to borrowers. Okay, this is the main function of commercial bank. The interest rate paid by the bank to depositors is lower than the rate of charge from the borrowers. Then the difference between two types of interest rate is called the spread. Okay, is the profit appropriate by the bank. Okay, then the banks which performs all kind of banking, business and finance, trade and commerce are called commercial banks. Okay, we know in our economy different types of commercial banks are there, like scheduled commercial banks, non-scheduled commercial banks, then public sector bank, private sector bank. Scheduled commercial banks means especially like it included in the act of RBI. Okay, non-scheduled commercial banks means those which are not included in the act of RBI. Okay, then public sector banks are there. Public sector banks are those banks which are owned and managed by the government. Then other type, private sector banks are there. Private sector banks are those banks which are owned and managed by the private individuals. Okay. Then commercial banks are different types of commercial banks are there. Then next class we need to study about the functions of some commercial banks and how this banking system started. That one we can study in next class.